To clear my throat. Is this thing on? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Open Matt Show. I'm your host, as always, Matt. I was really looking forward to this one. I feel like a lot of shit has gone down um, in regards to rankings, fight announcements, things like that, as well as signings. Obviously, that's kind of what I centered my whole thumbnail on. So yeah, there's just a lot to talk about. I'm very excited to get into it. Um, I assume you guys know what I'm referring to here. The big story, in my opinion, I'm just gonna get right into it. Is Dana White versus Eddie Hearn. Now, for those who are into like things like this, like the Dana White going off on Oscar, uh, Dana White going off on Bob Arum, these things, promoters going at it. I've always found that interesting, and I know a lot of MMA fans do. Otherwise, I would have made this my thumbnail. A lot of people have been very interested in Eddie Hearn and his reaction to all of this. So I'll give a really quick rundown. I'm not going to act like I'm Ariel Helwani here or like a proper MMA reporter. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown if you somehow don't know what I'm referring to. Uh, so obviously, Matchroom is ran by the Hearns. I'm tweaking. It's Barry Hearns and Eddie Hearns. It's their promotion, more or less. So then you have Zuffa, which is the TKO oiled machine, right? You got Dana White, Nick Khan, and then Sayla funding it / Turkey. A very unstoppable force. Now, I think it's very important to kind of lay the groundwork. Before Zuffa even existed, starting I would say like 3 years ago, maybe, Saudi Arabia entered the game, right? They started funding all these big fights. I would say the first one that caught my attention was, of course, Ngannou versus Tyson Fury and Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua. Um, Otherwise, I hadn't really been too into. I was into like heavyweight boxing really, and watching the relevant fights, but before that, I truly was a believer. Like boxing was just broken. I truly did believe that. I thought there was an issue of fighters not fighting, and yeah, it just that's a whole different rant I could go on. But when Turkey came in, he started making all these fights happen, started working with all these promoters. It almost seemed like he was going to be the one to unite everything, right? Then it comes out that he has this league coming out with Dana White, and from then, the second that announcement happened, I already knew what was going to happen. Kind of like a bait. That's not even a bait and switch. That's not the proper term, but pretty much what I feel like is happening. Um, he gave all these fighters these big paydays, biggest they've ever gotten. They're getting the money that they're asking for. They're like, I want 15 million, for example. Okay, and they're like, wait, really? Like, yep, just come over here. Uh, well, that's not what it was. Yeah, they were just giving people the paydays they want so we could get the fights we want. So now that the fighters have had a taste of a good life, Turkey is seemingly slowly backing out his relationships, out of his uh, funding of the main boxing promotions. I'm kind of getting choked up on my words here. I have a lot of acidic buildup. That's, anyways. So actually, I don't know if you guys have seen the news as well. I forgot to put it in my description, but Frank Warren in Top Rank, apparently they're suing Turkey Al Sheikh / Sayla for $1 billion due to breach of contract. Now, there's a lot of theories around that, and I'm not going to get into it now because, again, I'm just going to just forget what I'm talking about now because, again, that's a whole nother diatribe we could get into. But that kind of proves my point of what I'm saying here, basically. It's evidence. Turkey basically was funding all these guys, working with all of them. Now, all of a sudden, now that Zuffa is here, Turkey is realizing, okay, Zuffa probably is going to be the one to win it out. Because I do maintain that if Zuffa flopped, if it like wasn't what it was, at all, it wasn't the oiled machine it was, I would imagine Turkey would slowly back out of Zuffa the way he is doing Top Rank, Matchroom even, and start funding the enemies. But Turkey kept his options open, and because of that, he's winning big time. AKA Dana White and TKO is winning big time. So, whew. Sorry guys, I'm getting bad acidic buildup. I need to chill for a second. Anyways, back to what I was getting at. Basically, Eddie and Dana were kind of going back and forth for a little bit, for a while. It was slowly building up. Eddie's a nice guy, but Dana's a nice guy, but they're just kind of going back and forth. But it didn't really escalate, I would say, until a few weeks ago. Um, or was it a week ago? I don't really remember when, but it was somewhat recent. What really stuck to me was what Dana White said. Dana White was asked about what's the pushback you've been getting in the boxing business so far from the other guys. And Dana White goes, I've been getting no pushback. It's like beating up babies. Now, that's just a legendary, that's a classic Dana White line in the making. Modern classic right there. The fact he doubled down on it, it's like beating up baby. And then he said it 2 more times in a press conference recently, which we'll get to. Um, but he goes off. And they didn't even ask him about Eddie Hearn specifically. They just asked him about what pushback have you been getting. But the thing is, Eddie had been yapping about they made their own belt. That's a clown show, whatever. So Dana White starts going after Eddie Hearn. He says nobody talks about Eddie Hearn when you think of a visionary. Nobody. He works for Dad. He works for Dad. And he said it so condescendingly. Uh, anybody anybody that's ever worked for family or anything like that, which I've been in that situation before, regardless of how far you've taken yourself from that initial starting position you were given, hearing that hurts. Um, Eddie Hearn's a great promoter. Like for Dana to act like he's just a nepo baby, and he's a great promoter. He's stayed where he is and has elevated Matchroom to where he has for a reason. But it is true, his dad did give him the job. So that's just personal. Like regardless of how Eddie tries to play that off, that hurt. I know that hurt. But um, yeah, that was kind of that. Everybody was waiting for Eddie's response. Eddie responds in an epic way. I guess you could say I feel like it was a little underwhelming, but he goes off on Dana White. He's just saying Zuffa looks like dog shit. Looks like something in his garage, something like that. Uh, and you know what? He's kind of right. The Apex shows aren't the best, but again, this is like their 3rd event, I think. Their 4th with Jayo Pataya. So far, they've done more than what I think anybody would ever expect. I mean, we all expected these Apex cards for Zuffa boxing, but I thought they were going to be doing that for years before they built up to a big fight. But that's obviously not the case. That's not what they're going for. Signing Jaya Patai was kind of a wink in that direction. Signing Connor Benn, that's, oh shit, they're coming for it all. They're playing for keeps. And as I said in a tweet of mine, follow me over on Open Mat Show Live. It's a coup in a sport. We've never seen anything like this. At least in my lifetime. If you could think of something else like this, let me know. But we're literally watching a takeover of a sport. It's fucking insane. And it might sound like I'm glazing here. It might, and I kind of am, but it's hard not to. The splash that has been made with only a few cards in, the funding they have, the backing and business sense they have, and the promotional skill they have, all the moving parts in that machine, I don't see how anybody could stop them. Um, but anyways, Eddie responds back to Dana, says, "Yeah, I do work for my dad, whatever, but you also have Dad for Cheetah Brothers and your new pappy, Turkey Al Sheik," which I kind of want to argue that it's not really the same, I would say. But there is a good point there. It's not like Dana White founded everything and truly did it from the ground up. But you could go back and look at old clips of Dana White where he doesn't even look like Dana fucking White. You can't really do that with Eddie Hearn, I feel like. And again, not to say Eddie Hearn's a great promoter. Like truly, I think he's one of the best right now. But he's going up against a heavy machine, and like I said, Turkey did like the bait and switch. He worked with all these promoters and gave the guys a taste of the sweet life. Make sure to let them know where it's coming from. Now he's like, hey, you can still get that paycheck. You just got to do it over here with Zuffa, with Dana, with these guys. And it seems like everybody likes Dana. It seems like everybody likes Zuffa. Everybody that's signed over, I know it's still early, but everybody that's been over there, they have great things to say. They're saying they feel more professional. These are the smaller guys saying that, but Um, it, even you don't have to like it. Lord knows I don't. There's a lot of issues with the Zuffa branding and the mute colors and everything, but they're doing big blows to I would say probably the last standing pillar. That might be too much to say, but one of the last strong foundations of traditional boxing. It's Matchroom. Top Rank doesn't have a deal. Macro Chop, thank you for the subscription. Very much appreciated. 100 subs equals $100 giveaway, guys. So if you're watching, you're not subbed, just throw in a subscription. You never know. You never have to watch me again. Just subscribe and tune in every now and then to see if you fucking won $100. So very low risk, high reward there. No risk, high reward there. Anyways, I digress. Yeah. Zuffa Machine, they're kind of kicking ass right now, but I haven't even got to like the craziest thing about it. After that interview from Eddie, you would expect a crazy fiery response from Dana, which we kind of got, but I think the best response was what happened on the paperwork. Connor Benn, it comes out Connor Benn, which is one of I would say Matchroom's big three. He's a number three. He's number three. I would say Katie Taylor's above him. Obviously, Anthony Joshua's number one. Connor Benn is number three. I don't know where it comes out. He signed a one fight deal, which is interesting. A one fight deal with Zuffa Boxing for $15 million. Reckon the quality of UC will go down in the future as a result in the shift of focus. Actually, I don't know, because when Canelo and Crawford was happening, we saw Dana White didn't go to UFC Noche. And in my opinion, that was a better night of fights. Diego Lopez versus John Silva was a lot more exciting, although I guess Crawford and Canelo had more casual appeal. So there is an argument there, but honestly, I would say no. Maybe at the start, in the sense like Dana won't be there. I feel like the product, like him or not, the product isn't the same without Dana White being there. I think in that sense, yes, if you're a fan of him. But I think once Zuffa gets going, I feel like actually I've always had this opinion. I think we're going to see a prime era of a Zuffa and UFC. I think Zuffa is going to be that's going to be what Dana White needed to kind of get his fire back, so to speak. He hasn't had. I've always said this too. I think deep down he probably likes the competition. There's been times where he comes into press conferences all fired up, ready to argue, and nobody challenges him. Now, obviously, it's weird because we know he doesn't really like it, but clearly he appreciates it a little bit, like the little laugh he does before he answers him. He clearly likes to play the bad guy a little bit against people. So especially when you throw in the fact that MVP is on Netflix with MMA and Ronda Rousey's talking her shit right now, I do think we're going to see them lock in. Actually, I truly do believe that. I mean, I think it's already gone up. The promos that we've had as of late have been fucking great. Like, they're a lot better than like anything the UFC or anything ESPN shat out last year. We're actually getting cool little teaser trailers and shit like that. So I would say maybe in the sense of Dana White not being there, but aside from that, no, I don't think so. I think the White House card is causing the quality of the UFC to go down, honestly, because it seems like everything's on hold until that's announced. But right, Zuffa signed Eddie Hearn, or Zuffa signed Eddie Hearn. What the fuck am I saying? I'm tweaking. Zuffa signed Connor Benn. Eddie Hearn comes out with an interview, fucking heartbroken, being very petty. I feel like there's very few times where you've seen Eddie Hearn truly out of character. The first time for me, this might be like a throwback, only a niche reference, but Eddie Hearn did a face-off with Jake Paul for the first Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fight. And I don't remember Jake Paul said, "I'd beat you, though." And Eddie Hearn just out of pure like spite, just oh, I don't know about that. Like he actually implied like he would beat Jake Paul. And Jake Paul's not a world beater, but let's be real, he's probably beating the shit out of Eddie Hearn even back then. That was one time I feel like we saw him out of character. And the other time was here here where kind of where he got mad at Dana White and said Turkey's a poppy. I don't think it was fully out of character. It was just a little salty, but he kept himself focused, composed. But when the Connor Benn thing happened, where he's talking on the bed, he seemed out of character there. I'm not gonna lie. The way I there's so many people that do this. If you help somebody out and you beef later, I'm not gonna say what I did for him. I'm not. I could be petty. I could say stuff. You know, I'm not gonna talk about how I helped him with his bills when he had nothing. I'm not gonna talk. You're saying you're not gonna talk about it while proceeding to talk about it. It's a classic move. It's a classic move. Um, I thought that was kind of funny. Right, but and you know what? Rightfully so. It was rightfully salty. He backed Connor Benn when he was a drug cheat. Yeah, I mean, I guess he still is, right? But he put a lot on the line for Connor Benn. So for Connor Benn to leave Eddie Hearn without consulting him per Eddie Hearn, um, or right, uh, that's a big move. And to top the cherry on top, the twist of the knife is it's to the main rival Zuffa slash Dana White. Um, so it makes you wonder. Somebody actually asked Dana, did he know this was going to happen when he said it's like beating up babies? And he kind of laughed it off. He did his classic. And then immediately after that, I think he said, "Isn't Eddie Hearn the biggest pussy? Or like, could there not be a bigger pussy than Eddie Hearn? Isn't that fucking crazy?" Uh, I'm a fan of that. I know a lot of people don't like that unprofessionalism, but that's kind of something that really works for Dana White. Is he broke down those walls years ago? Everybody knows he's gonna talk shit like that. If Eddie Hearn comes out talking like that, comes off as bad, comes off that he's mad. When Dana White does it, it just seems casual. He's a little more passionate because we've seen a properly mad Dana White, and it wasn't that. It wasn't that. But yeah, so they took, I would say, one of the big three from Matchroom. They still have Katie Taylor and Anthony Joshua. Katie Taylor's talking about retirement. Uh, Anthony Joshua may never fight again, and uh, completely reasonable if he doesn't. Completely reasonable if he doesn't. I don't honestly expect him to. It'd be insane if he does. I feel like, in my opinion, I wouldn't. Anyways, uh, yeah, yeah. Zuffa. They've done a lot of damage for having less than 4 fucking cards. It's really crazy. And the crazy thing is, they got their deal like as like Paramount threw a bone. You know what I mean? That was kind of like they threw a bone in good faith. Like, you know what? We're happy with this UFC deal for whatever reason. We want to throw you guys a bone as well. We'll throw in Zuffa in there. No way they thought it was gonna get big like this quick. I mean, it's it, it's getting there. It's getting there. Uh, so that's kind of what's happened so far. I think it's big. We haven't had anything else. Something I would like to get into is the alleged rumors of who Zuffa will be signing. Um, it's very very interesting. So when I say rumors, I mean random ass tweets. I don't know where I saw these from, but yeah, by rumors I mean tweets, random faceless Twitter accounts and semi viable accounts just saying rumors of this and that. Um, Allegedly, apparently, uh, there's rumors of Tyson Fury. He's going to sign to Zuffa now. Again, this is on the heels of rumors coming out that Frank Warren. I don't know if that's confirmed yet or not, but it's on the heels of rumors of Frank Warren and Top Rank suing Sayla and Turkey for breach of contract because they were supposed to be exclusive, and I guess Turkey working with Zuffa, that's not exclusive. So that again, that makes you wonder about Fury. That might be where this rumor may be coming from. Shakur, that's a really really big one. He denied it, but with how he's been beefing with the commission, that makes sense. As Dana White said, hopefully, like these commission guys keep talking, Mauricio Solomon, because they're promoting Zuffa pretty much. Um, I saw a crazy theory that apparently Canelo's about to as well. That if he signs with Turkey, he's going to be signing with Zuffa pretty much. That one, I don't know. I don't know if I fully believe that one, but I saw some tweets saying it. Again, the bar is very low, very fucking low here. Um, but it was going trending for whatever reason. Now that's what was trending online. Here are my personal opinions. I do think Zuffa will try to get Fury and Shakur. That makes sense to me. I don't know if Fury would leave Frank in Top Rank like that, but Top Rank seems like they've been in the toilet for a little bit. They haven't really done too much. They've been getting their fighters fights, so props to them for that. But a lot or the fights that they can. Uh, but they're not in a good place. And if they're giving out that turkey money, a one fight deal, Tyson Fury might just have to say, "Sorry, Frank, but pull the Connor Benn. I still want you in my corner and all that." But in my personal opinion of who I think what they might do, I imagine Ryan Garcia will do his best. I know before the Barrios fight, he was saying that it was his last fight in Golden Boy and seeing the Virgil and Golden Boy situation. But imagine he wants to get the fuck out of Dodge and get away from Golden Boy. That's probably what he wants to do. Uh, Now, I don't know how that works anymore now that he won the belt. I know there's a lot of deals where if you win the belt, it automatically like resigns you to another fight or something like that. Boxing contracts are really fucking weird like that. That might be standard. What do I know, right? And also, I do think Terrence Crawford will return to boxing. Um, he's just too young. You know what I mean? He's too in good of shape, and I think he knows that too. It seems like he hasn't fully been tested to the best of his ability yet. Uh, so I do think he's going to come back. But as we know, Crawford said, fuck the commissions, right?" And there happens to be an organization with a lot of backing, and by the time he returns, probably a lot more popularity that aren't working with these organizations. So if Crawford comes back, he doesn't need to fight all these guys for mandatories and all that. He's gonna go fight with Zuffa. Um, Again, I'm talking on my ass here. I don't know, but that's what I personally think is gonna happen there. Uh, and yeah, shoot, I didn't play my music. And yeah, yeah, sorry guys. Let me turn off this notification. But yeah, I don't know. I guess point blank, too long, didn't listen. Zuffa Boxing is in a really, really good fucking spot. They are kicking ass pretty much. Um, and I'm very, very curious to see how the rest of the promotions respond. Um, yeah, that's really it. Um, there hasn't been much news. Like I said, if Zuffa can somehow manage to sign the aforementioned rumored people, Fury, Shakur, Garcia, shit, if he could somehow get a Canelo and Crawford for the rematch on Zuffa, that would be very fucking huge, very, very fucking huge. Um, so yeah. Hello, Rent Free. How are you? Rent Free 007. Um, but right, that's enough of Zuffa. That's enough of boxing. I've been yapping about that for how long have I been live? Like about 30 minutes. To me, that's just been the most exciting topic. Uh, because again, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in a sport. It's like a army coming to take over an entire sport that's been here for like a century. Um, but let's get on to the sport we all prefer, and hopefully I didn't lose a bunch of viewers for saying this, but MMA, right? Uh, I'll always like MMA a little bit more, but boxing is interesting. Um, so as we know, they signed Connor Benn for 15 million per fight. Marina bite. Yeah, dude, I know. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to talk about. I'm so surprised it didn't fucking cancel the event. That's kind of what I was joking about there. I do think Moreno's gonna beat the shit out of Loner Kavanaugh. I mean, I have a screenshot. I wish I had it pulled up. I have a screenshot of when Charles Johnson knocked out Loner Kavanaugh. Loner Kavanaugh's hands were at his hips, both of them, like he's just staring straight at him. Uh, Moreno's gonna feast on that, dude. Yeah, washed or not, Moreno's gonna feast on that. So, um, and yeah, like I was just making a play on all the fucking violence and shit. I thought they were gonna cancel it, but they didn't. So Yeah, but I do think Moreno will win that relatively easily. I just I don't know. I don't see how fucking Leonard Kavanaugh wins that aside from a fluke punch or something. Um, but anyways, as I was saying, we know Connor Benn is getting 15 million a fight. I think they would have relocated the event to Mexico City, right? But like, you think they would have done it by now? Like, why even risk it? Why get so close and try it? But whatever. That wouldn't be on my bingo card. Entire UFC fucking stadium held hostage or some shit. I don't think that'll happen, but never know. Anyways, so O'Malley came out pretty much saying that here, you know what? Let me freaking let me see here, guys. Let me get some visuals for you other than my freaking face. Where is it? Sorry guys. There we go. Right, we already talked about Connor Benn and everything. I guess we could talk about Moreno Kavanaugh. Uh, here we go. This is what I want to talk about. Sean O'Malley. I just want to talk about this really quick. Also, I think people are overreacting. You know what? I kind of agree too because Connor isn't the biggest. It's fun. That's crazy for me to say. I was just talking about it for the last 30 minutes. I agree that it's also being overreacted, but it's also like a very big move. Like it is a big move. Um, Connor was really close with Eddie, and clearly, I think if Eddie didn't react the way he did, it would have been a lot less of a thing. But Eddie seemed genuinely flabbergasted that it happened, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. I feel like there's very few times we've seen Eddie Hearn kind of lose his focus, so to speak, lose his composure. I think the interviews immediately after the signing there, he seemed a little like didn't like oh shit, and I do think that kind of affected it. That affected it for me. That was a big part of the story for me. But I will say I am curious to see where this goes because you know I kind of do agree with Sean O'Malley here. It is a little. He came out pretty much saying, "Who the fuck is Connor Benn? I've never heard of this guy. I worked so hard to make my character. I have a lot more followers, like double everything. Yeah, social media metrics aren't everything, but I would be willing to bet good money that Sean O'Malley has pulled in more views than Connor Benn. And again, a good test I use is just this is anecdotal, but I have a lot of very, very true casual combat sports fans. They like boxing, MMA, but you know they just know Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Sean O'Malley. Exactly, yeah. 15 million for one fight is absolutely fucking crazy. Uh, I get it's boxing. Like I totally get it. Completely different situations. There's no competition for O'Malley uh, to go to. Like there's nowhere O'Malley can't say, "Oh, I don't want to sign with you. Um, I want to go to PFL." PFL isn't going to get close to that, right? Whereas with boxing at the moment, um, right, Matchroom they had the potential to match, but I think that's why they paid so much. They wanted to make sure that Matchroom or Eddie couldn't match. Um, But yeah, it is stirring some shit up because I do agree. I think O'Malley's absolutely the bigger star than Connor Benn. Um, I mean, none of my buddies, true casual, but they know O'Malley. They've seen O'Malley fights. They don't know who Connor Benn is. It's just the truth. Uh, they don't know who Eubank is. They don't know. If you're a boxing fan, you know these guys. But these guys are just very true casual uh, fans, and they just know O'Malley. They've seen O'Malley fights. They don't know Connor Benn. So for O'Malley to be getting clearly significantly less than a Connor Benn, it is, you know, it is a little confusing. He has a great point. You're right. 15 million for like 3 to 2 fights. That's reasonable, I guess. I mean, again, even then, um, I don't think O'Malley is making that. I, I mean, what is that? Right, 5 million a fight, maybe. He might be. He might be. Um, but you spit on casuals. Yeah, I try not to judge too much, because I was once a casual myself. Uh, but the truth is something I've truly accepted is that, the sport is reliant on these casuals. There are a lot of the ones that are watching. Majority of viewers are probably maybe not the casuals the way my friends are, but the relative casuals. They're not watching, probably consuming MMA content too much on YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, I mean, Lord knows the god awful takes I've heard, man. Jesus Christ. Uh, My buddy didn't know Nate Diaz was pretty ass until he saw him fight Tony Ferguson. He thought Nate Diaz was like top 3 in the fucking world for the longest time. That's how casual they were. Are, I guess I should say. Uh, But yeah, I mean, so far O'Malley's the biggest guy to say that, uh, to complain about the pay. Obviously, we all know. Uh, I agree. All champions should make 7 figures. I fully agree. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe they do. I guess we don't truly know. And I imagine what I always imagined is the big guys, they get good money, probably good enough money. They don't want to complain. They don't want to rock the boat. Um, so that's why you don't see any big power players saying anything, leveraging anything. They truly do need a fighter union. I mean, regardless of what you think of fighter pay or whatever, um, if they want more pay, they need to band together. And I don't know if they'll be able to do that. I feel like they haven't, they clearly have no interest in doing that. Yeah, there are these antitrust lawsuits and all that, and those are going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But uh, when the last one, what was the payout? Like about 300,000 per fighter from the last one. They took the payout. It's almost like, right? Why should we care if they truly don't? Um, but it's interesting to see one of the biggest stars like O'Malley. He should be taken care of. Absolutely, he shouldn't have to feel insecure about a $15 million payday like that. But he clearly said, "I'm not getting 15 million per fight." And I agree, that's bullshit. I mean, I don't know if either of these guys should be getting 15 million per fight, if I'm being honest. But if you're gonna give Connor Benn 15 million for one fight, what the fuck does O'Malley deserve, right? For a while, he was like the true face of the casual fan base. Um, Non-champions who headline UFC should make. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Um, I agree. I mean, I don't know the. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know numbers and what to add up or whatever, but yeah, I would think like 100 at least for like starters, like 100K maybe. I get it. You can't give. I get you're not gonna give like a fresh off the contender series, uh, like maybe what is it, a fifth of $1 million for their debut fight because it could be like dog shit. But 12 and 12, 20 and 20, that's awful. That is all. They should make more than the average salary with one fight, in my opinion. Or they should at least make that. They should at least start, in my opinion, to like 45, 50 maybe. That's what I think. 100,000 at least. And I agree, main events should just like naturally make more. That's how it should be, because it would incentivize. Without pay per view, it would still incentivize um, marketing yourself and putting yourself in that position, which I think is a very crucial part of the UFC. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. Uh, absolutely bring back sponsorships. Absolutely. Now I totally get it. Like I totally get not wanting them to litter their whole fucking shorts and everything. Um, Even though I think it looks cool, I get it. I get it. But like allow them. Okay, there's no fucking reason a guy built like Francis Ngannou shouldn't be allowed to have Gymshark on his fucking shorts. That makes no fucking sense. I mean, look at the fucking guy. Hey, if you had Gymshark on his shorts while he's knocking dudes out, oh my god, like that would have been legendary. Like, at least allow it for certain fighters. That would make sense to me. Like, don't just allow any willy nilly fighter. Like, even though it should be every fighter, but like I think a reasonable compromise would be the real big fighters and Adesanya, Ngannou, and O'Malley. They're allowed to have special sponsorships on their uh, shorts. Like yeah, the Gymshark Ngannou. That was a like when I found out they were sponsored, I was like, how the fuck did I not know this before? It made so much sense. Um, and I feel like the fact that they don't allow that, it really deters a lot of sponsors from sponsoring these fighters because they're like, we're not sponsoring like that. We're sponsoring the UFC fight. They're not sponsoring Sean O'Malley. They're sponsoring the UFC fighter Sean O'Malley. They want the whole package, not just the dude without the fight kit on. Um, and I do think that is holding back a lot of sponsors in the UFC. Uh, but again, they see the numbers. I don't. You know, they're the businessmen. They're successful. So who am I to tell them otherwise, right? Who are any of us? But it does. These do seem like gimmies almost. Um, but who knows? Maybe they'll write an epic business book or some shit, and we'll all know the truth eventually. But let me know what you guys think about Sean O'Malley. Should he get 15 million a fight? Should he at least be making more than Connor Benn? I think so. Um, yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I saw this. Uh, I mean, no way that's true. I guess I could check myself, can I? I guess let me check myself, guys. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see who's the bigger. Let's see who's the bigger trends. Let's see. Is it Google Trends? Right. Okay, let's look up Sean O'Malley. Past. Let's just do 2025, right? Sean O'Malley, Connor Benn. Here we go. You know what? Let me change this to Sean O'Malley. Oh, okay. That was a shit post, obviously. That was a shit post. So clearly O'Malley is bigger. Maybe, I guess recently you say Connor Benn was bigger, but I mean, it's O'Malley, right? It's O'Malley overall. Yeah. I mean, I'm not shocked by that. I'm not shocked by that at all. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't know. Really interesting. If the UFC do pay their fighters more, then expect a lot of fighters to get cut in less events. That is true. That is true. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at less events. Honestly, I wouldn't be that mad if it were like every other. I don't know. Actually, maybe I would. But I I uh I understand, like, you know, there are business things, but for it to have not seemingly changed at all over the course of the entire business, it is a little crazy to me. Like, we shouldn't have fighters begging for money, right? In their post-fight interviews. Now, I'm sure a lot of these guys are terrible with their fucking money, uh, but, like, a lot of them, you know a lot of them should be getting, solid money, more than I don't know. I mean, I get it. They're all not gonna get millions, that's just the truth. And, yeah, I agree, we don't need an event every week, yeah. With how watered down they are, I would rather, like, every other, but, like, load them the fuck up. But the issue is they're obligated to offer, every fighter a certain amount of fights, so because of that, I think that's why they have so many events. Um, but, yeah, I guess maybe I'll get on my picks for UFC Mexico. Uh, again, we kinda talked about it earlier, so maybe every card would be stacked. That's what I would think. If they didn't have an event every week, a lot of cards would be a lot more stacked, I would say, on average. Mm, at least I would think, but, uh, if anything, we might be going towards more cards if they sign more people, but who knows? Yeah, the main cards for sure. The main cards for sure. Because even now, I don't think the main cards are that bad as is. They could be better, but but they're not what they used to be. That's for sure. All right, I'm gonna get into these picks. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna blow through these bottom three. I'm really kind of interested in these top three. I don't know too much about these guys. I feel like I'm a casual here. I want to say I remember him, Pacheco, but shoot, who did Luna fight last? I don't shit. I don't fully remember. What did he win by? Was it KO or was it just the something here? I guess I could check. Was it decision? Okay, it was just by decision, I guess. Um, So I'm gonna be honest, this kinda looks like a layup for Luna. He's undefeated, 7-3. I'll probably go with him. I didn't really do a good job looking up who this guy was before this. That's kinda my fault. But, everyone else I know. But I would imagine him. I remember watching him fight. I just I don't really I thought it would kinda come to me. Um, but yeah, he's probably the guy coming in. Mexico, he's Mexican. They're gonna want to build him. It's kind of a layup. I do know Eminal Rodriguez. It was on the Ultimate Fighter. He lost to Jose Morales. He's fighting Kevin Borjas. Borjas is pretty solid, but I think Eminal is really good. He has really good hands, really solid, crisp boxing. I would say. Am I on Tapology? No, this is the official UFC website. I don't like Tapology that much, um, especially when I'm on stream. I feel like this is like too much going on. I like UFC stats personally. I'll probably end up switching to it. I always end up switching to it. I just like using this because of the visuals on it. But what? Oh, his last fight was his debut. I was just that's not the debut. Imanol has really good hands. I feel like we have seen him face adversity, and he stands up to the test. Honestly, in the Ultimate Fighter, I would say he's really solid. Borjas could give him a lot of issues, especially out. Yeah, his reach is a lot more. His leg reach is oh, shorter, but regardless, he's taller. I feel like he's physically a lot taller too, like in person. I know these numbers aren't everything. His reach is there. I could see him just the jab and teep giving Imanol a lot of problems, but like I said, Imanol's a really good striker. Um, he's very good. What a nerd, me for using a UFC fight night or UFC. I like using the UFC website, but yeah, I got Imanol here. Uh, I just think he's gonna win. Truly, I mean, Borjas is good. Borjas could upset Imanol, but Imanol has just looked solid, and he's been training with Daniel Cormier under Daniel Cormier's tutelage. I would imagine his grappling skill is at least up to par. He's Cormier's been very confident in his guys as of late. All right, so now we're going Edgar Chairez versus um, Felipe Buns Bunez. So I'm gonna go with Shirez here, just straight up. Uh, Shirez really got on my radar. Thoughts on the heavyweight division? It's fucking ass. That's what I think. I don't think it's very good right now. Um, Now, do I think it could get better? Yes, but clearly UFC has not shown interest in forking out money to get some good heavyweights over. You got Rico, Gable. I don't know why the fuck they caught Rosenstruck. I feel like he could still hang around in there. Uh, in my opinion, I don't think they should have cut Giles and Almeida. I know he's boring, but I think they should have just told him, "Nope, you're at heavyweight now, or we're gonna fucking cut you." Maybe he said, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna go down anyways," and that's what happened. But they should have kept his ass at heavyweight. He's just a body at least. A hated name, the villain or some shit like that, right? You can feed him to guys that will certainly beat him. Uh, but yeah, it's in a rough place with Tom's eyes being all fucked up and him talking about I'm not even thinking about training or anything like that. Um, it's in a tough spot. They low key like Pereira. If I'm Pereira, I'm smacking my lips, dude. Because Gon's gonna strike with you. I agree. I mean, a lot of people have said this before. I agree that yeah, if nothing changes in heavyweight MMA in general, it'll be extinct in the next 10 years or less. But you know what? I do think that eventually something will have to give because what happens if Tom doesn't come back? Um, what happens when Pereira goes up and slash or loses and then or wins and then retires? What happens if Jones never comes back? Right? Um, That's kinda what I was thinking, a possible cruiserweight, but honestly, there's not enough athletes in MMA to really like, good athletes in MMA, in my opinion, to really make that a thing. That'll kinda add to the problem of a bunch of watered down cards. Um, but, yeah, if once all these guys retire, well, who are they gonna be left with? Surreal gone, right? Tai Tuivasa. There's no stars really at heavyweight. What I do think they need to do, a lot of people have said it, they need to start scouting. They need to go to D1 colleges and check out the practice squad, the big ass tight ends and linemen. Like, hey, They're fucking 6'6" and in shape. Josh Hokett, shit, that's an example, right? Just get like NFL rejects and guys like that. Just up the physical fucking standard. If you're gonna get guys going in there doing sloppy brawls with basic training, who am I to say that, right? But if you're gonna do that, might as well get some fucking higher caliber athletes, right? Um, at least that's my opinion. Um, but I guess I digress. Uh, yeah, I got Edgar Chirez here. I feel like he's been only getting better since his Sphere fight. He didn't look that good in the Sphere fight, but he kind of captivated me with the story. What did he say? He sold his like dad's or grandpa's truck just so he could get there or something like that, and he needs money for him because he needs surgery or something like that. And they hooked him up. It was just a good story, and yeah, I got Chirez here. They really need to sign Nemkov. I agree. I agree. They really need to sign a lot of people, honestly. I think Rico, they need to sign Rico. They need to sign Gable. Like I said, it might be early for him, but get him. I don't know, get him under something. Uh, unless PFL isn't going for him, I mean, he might be open. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of Ngannou shit. There's just a lot of talent that they've let go or have let slip through their hands over the years at heavyweight, and they're paying the price, it seems, in terms of their heavyweight division, their quote unquote premier division. It's very sad. Very, very sad. Like, how many times are we going to see Cyril Gane fight for the fucking belt, right? Yeah, like, it's bad. It's bad. And yeah, Tai Tuivasa almost finishing him when they fought. It's a fun time. Oh, what if MMA opened the heavyweight division like in boxing? Tom versus Francis, UFC PFL. They would never do it because UFC would only have stuff to lose. They wouldn't have too much to gain. Um, and PFL would have all to gain. But maybe, maybe. Um, I don't. I would love to see it. The one FC. Nah, they would. If they're not gonna work with PFL, they're not gonna fucking work with one. They might work with one actually. They've said the name One FC in their fucking broadcast before, so that alone, is more than anyone else. Uh, honestly, I think Francis beats Tom Aspinall. Maybe not now. Maybe not now, but like prime for prime. I truly think Ngannou might be like the best heavyweight to ever fucking do it. Uh, not the best fighter to ever do it, but like the best heavyweight to do it. Just because like he fucking cracks, like he just hits people, and like I thought Tom, and he has a chin too. And Tom gets hit. We see it in every fight. He gets hit solidly before he knocks people out. Every fight he takes a solid shot. He's a chin. He has a good chin, but every fucking fight he takes a solid shot before landing his own. I genuinely think Ngannou just out chin him and just like fucking swang and bang with him, and get Tom out of there. Uh, yeah. There's a lot of guys for Tom to do, but hell, why Tom might not even come back, dude. We don't know when Tom is gonna be back. He might get fucking stripped by the end of the year. Um, I think the eye surgery recovery is like 6 months minimum. He's not gonna be back for a while, man. I think the UFC are gonna end up stripping him, honestly. I truly do think that. I truly, truly do think that. All right, I'm gonna talk about Daniel Zellhuber versus King Green. This one's a pretty interesting fight. Uh, I do think Daniel Zellhuber is very like overrated. I don't think he's that good, uh, especially considering his physical stature. Like he should be a lot better for what he is. Uh, if this were a few years ago, I think King Green would do a lot better. Bobby Green, I think he would hurt Daniel Zellhuber very easily, and he still can. But Green's been pretty chinny. I feel like he's been getting fucked up and fighting some real competition. But regardless, he's been getting knocked out. He's been losing a lot. I know he won his last one, but I think if it comes down to it, Zellhuber will stand there in the pocket and just catch fucking King Green with his hands down, just like that, just like the way they are right now. Um, yeah, I just don't see King Green beating Daniel Zellhuber. Um, And again, I don't think Daniel Zellhuber is all that. I don't think he's that good. I think he's a bit washed in my not washed. That's not fair to say, but I just don't think he's that good. Kind of a flop prospect to a degree. They're just pushing him really hard because Mexico, and yeah, he's 15-3. Like he has potential to be good, but I think he's just been getting favorable matchups, and like, even though he lost the last one, and King Green is another one. This is supposed to be a bounce back fight for him. If he's as good as they think he is, he should knock out King Green here. And I do think I don't think he's that good, but I think he's better than a current washed up King Green. So I got Zellhuber via TKO in the first round, honestly, or second. I just think he's gonna put it together really well and catch King Green. If he fucking lets this motherfucker piece him up, he's ass, bro. He's ass. I'm sorry. We got Marlon Vera versus David Martinez. This is actually a pretty good fight. I wanna I don't know. I wanna say Marlon Vera. We don't know how chinny David Martinez is. I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Because I do think he's gonna get hit by Vera. If Vera goes, I think Vera's gonna know he has to go. I've been saying that for like all of his last fights, and he hasn't fucking done it. But I mean, he's a third fight or the co-main um, under flyweights. Like come on, he's got to realize he's got to lock the fucking. Pretty much, if Martinez has a chin, and once he feels that power, if he's scared of it, I think he'll be able to uh, piece his way up to a decision. But I'm gonna go with Martinez via unanimous decision. This might be tweaky. This is his hardest fight yet with Marlon Vera, but I just think Vera's gonna kind of be frozen up. He's probably gonna land maybe one big shot, a few big shots on Martinez, and we're gonna see if Martinez. We'll see how tough he is, what his chin is made out of. But I think Vera is gonna win that, or I think Martinez is gonna win that unless Vera can actually hurt him. But the safe bet would be Martinez via unanimous decision. All right, now we're on to the main event: Brandon Moreno versus Loner Kavanaugh. Uh, Again, you guys saw in my title, I kind of joked Loner Kavanaugh versus the Cartel. Um, Obviously, I'm being a bit facetious there, but it's gonna be like he's fighting the fucking Cartel, dude. He's gonna get the shit beaten out of him. Uh, Shit. Oops, my alarm's going off. He's gonna get the shit beaten out of him, in my opinion. Um, yeah, I mean, he could catch Brandon Moreno. Moreno could truly be super washed, but I just don't think so. Uh, yeah, I mean, I know MMA math isn't fully accurate, but Loner Kavanaugh got knocked out by Charles Johnson, hands down, like he was King fucking Green. It was awful, an awful visual, and I don't know how anybody can see that and think he will win against Brandon Moreno on short fucking notice. Like I nothing can convince me aside from a crazy fluke like punch and Brandon Moreno truly being it has to be a combination of the two, and Brandon Moreno truly being washed. I don't know how the fuck Loner Kavanaugh beats Brandon Moreno. I think he's gonna get slaughtered in there, dude. I truly do. It's gonna be like a cartel torture video, bro. He's gonna get beat the fuck up. I don't know if Moreno will be able to finish him. I would think so, but if not, Loner Kavanaugh's gonna be bloodied the fuck up. Who knows? This could be Loner Kavanaugh's epic bounce back, the step the fuck up he needs. Um, but I don't know. I think Brandon Moreno is just gonna massacre him. Uh, there's not really a lot of X's and O's I could talk about here. I think Moreno's better everywhere, like truly. Washed or not, he's just a lot better everywhere. Maybe he could test Moreno's grappling, but I don't think so. Moreno's very fucking good. Um, like I said, this is gonna be a slaughter. Uh, and even if Kavanaugh ends up fucking winning, I don't want to hear motherfuckers go, you casuals, you didn't know. Shut the fuck up. All right. He lost, like I said, he lost. He got knocked out by Charles Johnson with his hands, two hands at his hips, like he was King fucking Green. How do you see that boxing defense skill and think he beats like the cardio machine like Moreno, who's going to be going hard throughout the entire rounds? Like he gassed out so fucking fast with Charles Johnson, and we think he's gonna outstrike Brandon Moreno on short notice. Yeah, fucking right. He's gonna get beat up, man. I like Loner Kavanaugh. I think he's gangster for taking this fucking fight because, like, I think you got to be a delusional level of confidence. You have to have a delusional level of confidence to think you're gonna beat Moreno in this situation, but you need that shit if you really want to succeed in MMA. You just got to give yourself the shot. So it'd be cool if Kavanaugh wins, but I'm talking over myself here. I'm repeating myself. I just don't see how he does it. I think Moreno's gonna fuck him up really bad. So I got Brandon Moreno via. I'm gonna say he's gonna stop him by the third round. That's truly what I think. I don't know. I don't know about the. I think the first and second he's gonna be game. He might even get Moreno a sticky situation in the first round. I think Kavanaugh's gonna come out, yeah, like a fucking bull, just going for it because he is on short notice. But after that second round or in that second round, Moreno's really good at kicking to the body, very, very sneaky with that. I think he's gonna. I think he's just gonna grind Kavanaugh down. Truly, it's gonna be a proper bounce back fight for Brandon Moreno. Uh, and yeah, like truly, aside from like a crazy wild finish, Kavanaugh isn't beating Brandon Moreno. So I'll just go over my picks really quick. I got Luna, Emanol, Chirez, Zell Huber, Marty. What the fuck? I picked all the Mexicans. It's not what it looks like, guys. It's not what it looks like. Luna, Emanol, shit. No kidding. Okay, well, you know what? They probably did this on purpose, right? We all know they've been dying to really hook in the Mexican audience. They want that Canelo. They want that Canelo level money. They want the Canelo attention. They're begging. They're looking for their star. So, but yeah, I mean, I truly think a lot of these matchups are favorable. Realistically, Vera could easily beat Martinez. Shires could easily lose as well. Honestly, I do think Rodriguez smokes Borjas. Honestly, Borjas is a solid test for him, but Imanol's a really good boxer, and then with the training under Daniel Cormier, he's only going to be better than what we've seen him as. But yeah, it's just again, it's really interesting that they didn't move it or anything like that, considering all the violence going over there. I don't want to wish this into existence, and if this ends up happening, I have nothing to do with it. Don't fucking arrest me, FBI. But like, what if some crazy shit happens? Like we hear John Anik, and men have entered the building with guns, and some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that won't happen. I hope not. But like, what if, right? That would just be fucking crazy. I'm kind of rambling here. Let's move on to the last topic I want to talk about. We're going to be talking about UFC 327. A lot of fights have been announced for it. And I put a tweet out. Mid AF, but has a potential to be a banger. So this is the card so far. Now, I was under the impression this was the finish card, okay? I feel like that's not fully my fault. It looks like it. It's Van v. Tyra. I thought that was the main event with Reyes, Walker as the main event. So I said mid AF, but has a potential to be a banger. I got 10 likes there, but a lot of people didn't like that. I didn't know the main event was still missing. That makes the card a lot better. But it's a solid card, like I said. But like on paper, this doesn't stand out. Like surely, like if you asked me a few days ago, what fights are you looking forward to? Like if you had to match make any fights, what fights would you want to see? The only one I would have got on this poster is Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. I would never in a million years I would have picked these guys against each other. I mean, maybe Reyes Walker, but like, come on, right? I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm not saying it's a shit card. I'm saying it's mid, right? Especially, like I said, I was under the impression Van Tyra was a main event and Reyes Walker was a co-main. I was like, what the fuck is that? Good fights, but come on. Like I said, a lot of people didn't like that. I was called a casual. I hurt my feelings. And I said, bros geeked for Khanov versus Costa. And Double Down even called me casual again. And I kind of agree that looks like a casual statement. But again, I would like to explain myself. Khanov, I know who he is. I know he's an undefeated prospect, winning by fucking violence every time. And Costa, obviously, is Costa. Everyone knows Costa, right? Again, like I said, if you asked me a few days ago, what fights are you looking forward to? I would not have said Khanov. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have. So that's why I said bro is geeked for Khanov versus Costa. Like, come on, man. Like it's not a bad fight now that they announced it, but like, come on, you're not at the edge of your seat for that, right? I might be alone in that, but other than maybe Reyes Walker, I think Blades Hokit is like the most interesting on this undercard because we're gonna find out how good Hokit is. I mean, and Van Tyra, obviously, but like, come on, none of these keep you at the edge of your seat. Truly, none of these are nail biters. Maybe when you get there, but yeah. Like I said, all of these fights are probably gonna deliver. They're probably gonna be good as shit, but on paper, it's a mid card, especially if you're under the assumption that's a main event like I was. And this guy said, "Y'all motherfuckers just be complaining about everything." I didn't even complain aside from Tyra v. Van. Nobody was clamoring for these fights. It's not bad. I'm not at the edge of my seat filled with anticipation. Okay, it's mid. I'm sure the fights will deliver. I just really want to defend myself to beat the casual allegations. Um, it's it's if this was the main event that was coming, it wouldn't be that good. It is what it is. Uh, and yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think about that. And let me know what you think about my UFC Mexico picks. I'm pretty curious. Uh, I want to know what you guys think. Is it coincidental I picked all the Mexicans? Are those solid picks? I think they are. Um, I think these are like clear layups. They're clearly investing into that audience and demographic. So it was inevitable they would set up, layups like this for guys like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm probably gonna end it here. I'm kind of out of shit to talk about. Let me check my Twitter. Let me see if anything fucking blew up. Let's see. Here we go. I mean, I don't really care about that. Connor Benn is a part of a super fight, apparently. Yeah, nothing good, nothing good. Who excited to see or promote? Okay, Mark Shapiro has confirmed that TK Zuffa Boxing and Saudi Arabia's Sela will be the promoters for the April 11 Tyson Fury Arslan Beck. Okay, if that's actually real, if that's legitimately real that they're going to be doing that, and that's why Frank Warren is suing, that's fucking huge. I should probably, God, I could talk about this so much longer, but I'm gonna be honest. I know I haven't been live that long, but I'm gonna be honest, guys. I want to go watch Survivor. I'm a big Survivor fan, and Survivor 50 started 10 minutes ago. I'm trying to go watch that shit. It looks like I don't know if that's actually true if they really did sign um Tyson Fury or if they really are going to be promoting that. I don't know how true that is, but we'll see. Uh yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I really, really appreciate you guys watching. We are a very, very small channel, if it isn't fucking obvious. Every interaction, every view, every like, every comment, it goes a long, long way for me. It changes everything, quite frankly. Uh, and yeah, I love doing this. I love talking to myself, talking to you guys about fights. I just love yapping. I love hearing myself talk about these fights. I love hearing what people have to say about fights. And I love arguing about it. I just love everything about this sport, this industry. It's really good. I feel like there's nothing truly like it. Um, and yeah, I appreciate anybody that took the time to tune in. I am live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Like I said, every single one of those interactions goes a long fucking way for me. Um, and right, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. As you can see, for 100 subs, I will give away $100 to a random subscriber. So just subscribe and tune into my videos. Once I hit 100, we'll give away $100. So very easy for you, just one click. Follow me over on Twitter at Open Matt Show Live. I tweet a lot over there. You can see a lot of my opinions on the news and announcements on the fly over there. So make sure to follow me there. And I respond very quick over there. So if you truly want to talk shit to me, get with me over there. And yeah, I'm very excited, guys. I'm very, very excited for these fights this weekend, just for this year. I think we're going to get a lot of good shit to talk about, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Truly, I love you all. See you guys next week on Wednesday. Goodbye.